So here's the original plane that I got from my mum, sent over. An old record plane, dated from 1931 to 1939. So, took it all apart. Unfortunately, broke this screw for the front handle. So, had to drill it out. And hopefully we'll be able to tap something new. So, frog out. All the bits. Let's go. So just sanding now on a piece of glass. So it's perfectly flat. Just to clean up. You can see that, yeah, not perfectly flat, but we'll be doing that later. And the sides don't have to be perfectly square. Just cleaning up the base of the face of the frog. Just assembling it now. Just to see how it all fits together once it's cleaned up. And actually giving it a sand now whilst the blade is clamped in place. This is where we can finally check if it's going to be flat, because the clamp actually changes the shape of the sole. So this is where we need to flatten it when it's fully assembled. And you can see here, it's high up there and on down below. So we've got to keep going. Starting to flatten out around the mouth. Got a little dent in there. Cleaning up all the other little bits and bobs. A little bit quicker on that. Marking the base of the sole of the plane, so that when I sand I can see where the high spots and the low spots are. And you can see like a foot sole pattern that's going around to the right hand side, and so we had to flatten all that out. Now just checking for square on the actual plain blade to create a quick right angle surface and to check that it all cuts. And works pretty well. Testing on various things. And produces a pretty good surface, even though the blade isn't actually very sharp. So, masking off. Ready to coat this plain body with some anti-rust. Black. Same for the logo. As at this point, black is good. It's what the modern blades look like. Ooh, that feels good. Yeah. That looks nice. But at this point, it was blue. And it was the blue originally from the Air Force blue. Is what record planes used to use. But I'm going to use a slightly brighter blue. A bit happier. And prime the logo, because it was originally a sort of yellowy orange. Starting to see all the stuff come back. The brass is brightening up with some steel wool. Sanding off all the screws and all the small parts. And now cleaning up the sides, including the rosewood handle, just scraping the shellac. And that's actually where the label would have said original record planes. You can actually could have seen the sticker So we're just sanding off all the rosewood here. And finally we're going to tap this screw. Now this is a bit of a stressful moment. I didn't have exactly the right tools, but I took it really, really slowly and broke my tool. So luckily I managed to tap enough to get it in, and it's nice and solid. Putting the varnish now. Didn't go for shellac, doesn't exist here where I am. So just using just a normal varnish with a bit of a tint. And onto the plain blade now. So what we did before was just to establish angle. Here I'm using 600 just to flatten the blade. You can see I've got a flat part on the back, but not on the edges here. Going further, almost there, and then finally all the way across. A little bit of denting there, but it doesn't get to the edge. Now going to 1000 grit. You can see it's starting to become more mirror finish, and just keep going until the whole blade is there. Now we're going to establish the angle a little bit more and actually produce a micro bevel. You can see a little thing there, but unfortunately on the back side there's still an edge where it's not sharp for some reason. We're not actually sharpening that very, very fine edge. So we're gonna tilt the blade up slightly. You can do this just with a ruler, and then now you can see we're sharp all the way up to the edge. And so now I can actually go to the Japanese Waterstone and finish off this blade. And doing the same thing again, just raising that edge. Here we're going to the strop, putting some compound on, and just stropping it like 30 times or so. And now we've got that razor blade. Good on both sides, the back edge. And sure enough, I can shape my arm. Putting it back together. Frog, adjustment frog. The color. Ooh. The logo. Blade's looking nice and shiny in there. Mouth is nice. And now we're going to give it a test run. And it feels really nice. And it even sounds a lot better compared to the original one, which is a little bit duller. You hear this is a bit higher sound, higher pitch. It sounds really nice and sharp. And the shavings look good too. Final little polish for the final coat. And I think we're ready.